Is the curse coming back? I don't remember when or where or why I got this book. Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Valerie Geary. Okay, so the light's a little weird in the room right now. And Ryan is in the basement making something. So if you hear like weird alien noises, that's just Ryan in the basement. I am here today to do another TBR Jar Pick. See which book I'm going to be reading in July. I'm getting a little bit of a late start on my TBR Jar Pick. It is July 6th. So we're like 1 week into July and I haven't picked for my TBR jar yet. So I'm getting a little bit of a late start. This says Little Girls Sleeping by Jennifer Chase. And you know what? I have no idea what book that is. It must be on my Kindle. Let me go get my Kindle and see if it's on there. I'm pretty sure it's not a physical book. I don't even know what this book is about. I don't even remember buying this book. Oh man. Honestly, this is embarrassing. Not that embarrassing. Got my Kindle. Well, this is the Fire that I use. I also have this one. This is the one I read on, but I want to show you the cover. So if I can find it. Somebody passed this Fire on to me for free, so it's a little bit slow. Sometimes it doesn't want to work. Hello? Sounds like it's going to be a mystery novel. Little girls sleeping. Here we go. Little Girls Sleeping. A gripping crime thriller by Jennifer Chase. I think the thing with ebooks is that because they're not on my shelf where I like look at them all the time, I forget which ones I have. Looks like I might have started reading this one at some point because it was halfway through the first chapter. It says Detective Katie Scott, Book 1. He takes them, he protects them, he lets them sleep forever. Actually, I am really in the mood for this kind of book. It's summer and I kind of want something, you know, easy to read, some kind of like a little binge reading. So I'm going to try this one out. I think I probably downloaded it for free at some point. I'm going to start that tonight, I think. I think I'm about to take Charlie for a walk, and then I don't really have anything planned for this evening. Ryan has this whole week off, and we're doing a bunch of adventures. Today we went to play disc golf, and yesterday we went on a bike ride. Tomorrow we're going to do another bike ride, and I think we're going to go on a hike and maybe throw some other things in there. So we're having a bunch of like local excursions, some miniature adventures for his week off. And in between, I'm like squeezing in work and squeezing in reading. Hopefully this vlog will be a fun one and I'll be able to share some of those adventures with you guys. Okay, first a walk and then I'm gonna start reading. Wednesday morning and I have read about 3 chapters of Little Girls Sleeping. Honestly, it's been a bit of a slow start, but I am enjoying it. I think I like the main character, Katie Scott. So the book starts with like this man, this strange man, a narrator we don't know, going into a dark woods and burying or digging a grave, but maybe just burying teddy bears. I don't know, so kind of a creepy start. And then we switch to Katie Scott's point of view. And Katie has been in the army for 2 years, and she worked with the K-9 unit. They sniffed out bombs and explosive devices in Afghanistan, I think, maybe? I don't know. So she's returning home from serving in the army. Her uncle is a sheriff in Pine Valley, California, and he has given her a desk job position. So he's going to be filing reports and doing some data entry. She's trying to figure out kind of her next steps with her life. Then she happens across a cold case file that perks her interest. It involves a young girl who has gone missing. This reminds Katie of something that happened in her past, and so she decides to take the cold case and see if she can find out some more information. So kind of setting it up to be an interesting story where we have a woman who is working with the sheriff's department but not actually a detective, but she is going to be investigating a cold case. There is a dog sidekick and potential for romance, and I'm enjoying it. Like I said, it was a little bit of a slow start, but I think things are going to start picking up soon. I did a little bit of work this morning. I'm reading through a draft of a new book that I'm working on. It's kind of a gray, drizzly, cool day today. I'm not complaining. This afternoon, Ryan and I are going to head out on our bikes. We're going to load up the bike trailer with some books and visit some little free libraries. I think that video will have already gone up by the time this one goes up, so I'll link it here so that you can watch us bopping around on our e-bikes as we deliver books to little free libraries. So that is our afternoon. I don't know how much more reading I'm going to be able to get done today, but we'll see. Saturday, July 10th, and I feel like it's a good time to check in with how my reading of Little Girls Sleeping is going. I thought I would read through this book a little faster, but this week I haven't really been doing a lot of reading. I have been pretty busy. Right now I'm reading through a rough draft of one of the books that I'm writing, and I'm also reading for a friend one of her rough drafts, and so by the time I get done with work for the day, I'm like, I don't really want to sit and read. Plus, the weather is lovely, so I've been spending a lot of time outside. This morning we went for a hike with some friends. We went and saw some waterfalls and did some good hill climbing. Then I came home and immediately took a nap. So I'm only about halfway through Little Girls Sleeping. The other thing I'm struggling with is I'm not really enjoying the book very much. It's okay. It's like a solid detective mystery novel, but there's something missing with it. I've been thinking a lot about like what makes a book special, what makes a book just kind of pop out at you. What about a book grabs hold of you and doesn't let go? Is it a complicated plot? Is it the depth of characters? Is it tangled storylines? Is it just like beautiful prose? Is it some kind of combination? So yeah, what makes a book special to you? What makes a book stand out? That's what I want to know. What are the things that you look for in a book that draw you, that suck you in, that won't let you go? For me, with these characters right now, I'm enjoying the main character, Katie Scott. She's an interesting character. She is kind of a fish out of water in this police department. Her background is in the army, and she does have some police work, but she's like working for her uncle who's the sheriff, and she's supposed to be doing paperwork, but then she gets kind of caught up in this case where there was a girl who went missing 4 years before the book starts. And as she's looking through the notes, she's not super happy with how the investigation went, so she is kind of getting wrapped up in this investigation. And I'm enjoying some of the side characters too. I'm enjoying the dog sidekick that she has, and her uncle's a pretty interesting character. But there's this one character, and he's supposed to be like the antagonistic cop to Katie's cop. And he's very two-dimensional. He's kind of cartoonish. He's a caricature. I'm just not buying his antagonism toward Katie right now. It's just kind of like, okay guy, calm down, calm down. It feels like forced conflict to me. So really there's not a lot of conflict happening in the book. There is a thread of tension, but each scene is kind of boring and plodding along, and there's not like conflict within the scene very often. Or if there is conflict, it's not explored to any interesting depth, it's just kind of like brushed over. So then when we get to the scenes with this other cop who's like antagonistic towards Katie, the conflict just feels forced. While there's nothing inherently wrong with the book, I just feel like there may be a few things missing for me as a reader, the kind of books that I like to read, that are making it hard for me to want to pick it up and come back to it and read it. Sometimes I'm reading a book and I like don't want to do anything else. I'm like, I don't want to do my chores, I don't want to work, I don't want to watch TV, I just want to read. But with Little Girls Sleeping, I'm kind of finding excuses to not read. So I'm gonna finish the book up for this vlog. I think I'm gonna kind of skim through it. Like I said, I'm about 50% done. I don't really have any other plans today. I think I'm gonna work on reading my friend's book for her. And then tomorrow we have a little volleyball game planned, but otherwise don't have much going on. So I think I will go sit out on the porch and do some reading and see how much I can get read this weekend for this book so I can kind of move on to something else, something a little more exciting for me. So Lincoln Park. I tried. I really tried. According to my Kindle, I read 53% of Little Girls Sleeping. Half a book. More than half. I think there are 320 pages in this book, and I maybe read about 150 of them. I gave it my best effort. It's really windy out here. I thought recording outside would be a great idea, but now I'm having second thoughts. So I don't like to abandon books. I really don't. I try hard not to. I think that every year I abandon about 3 to 5 books. I read about 80 to 90, so those seem like pretty good percentage rates to me. I mean, I read Stephen King's 11/22/63. That was like a 800-page door stopper. I wasn't really enjoying it, but there were enough good things to keep me reading through to the end. Enough good things about that book to keep me invested and to keep me turning the pages, even though I didn't really like it when I got finished with it. I still finished it. But with Little Girls Sleeping, there were just too many things that weren't clicking for me as a reader. I was going to press on. I even told you guys that I was going to skim through the rest of it and finish it, but I lied. It just felt wrong to DNF a TBR Jar book that I had picked for this vlog. I felt like I owed it to you guys to read it through to the end so that I could say whether or not I recommended the book. It's hard for me to say, oh, this book would be a good read for such and such a reader, or maybe you should skip it if I haven't finished reading it. Feels weird to do that. The thing is, even though I couldn't finish the book, there are a lot of reviews on Goodreads where people really enjoyed Little Girls Sleeping and they gave it a lot of really good reviews. Oh my, it's a friend. Hello. Going to be in the jungle now. We're just gonna leave this plant in the video. This new friend, Planty. Where was I? We were talking about not finishing books. DNF, did not finish. Could not finish. PDMMF, please don't make me finish. So a lot of other people really liked Little Girls Sleeping, so maybe I'm just in a reading slump. I feel like I haven't really enjoyed a book in a really long time. I feel like I haven't found a book that has sucked me in and really like held my attention. I've been abandoning books left and right, and so Little Girls Sleeping might just be another casualty of a summer reading slump. I'm currently in the process of revising my own novel, and sometimes this happens where when I'm working really hard on my own fiction, other people's fiction just doesn't interest me. So maybe I just need to start reading some nonfiction right now. So if you have any nonfiction recommendations for me, comment down below. Because I do want to read. I don't want to spend my time just like staring at a wall or staring at the television for too long. Also, it's summer and there's a lot of things happening outside. There's a lot of adventures that we've been taking and hanging out with friends, and so I haven't had as much like cozy blanket reading time the way I get in the fall and winter, so maybe that has something to do with the reading slump I'm in. It might have been me. It might not be the book at all. We just might have found each other at the exact wrong time. That happens sometimes. I try not to take it personally. So I know you want more specifics and more details about why I abandoned Little Girl Sleeping, so let me dig into that. For me, there was a lack of conflict and a lack of complication with the characters and with the plot and with the emotional depths. It just all felt very shallow and on the surface, and I felt like we never really got to know the characters the way I wanted to know the characters, and I felt like they never really butted heads the way I wanted them to, and the plot just kind of didn't seem to be going in a very interesting direction for me. The main character, Katie Scott, started out intriguing enough. She is an Army veteran, she has a little bit of PTSD, and she's trying to figure out what she wants to do with the rest of her life. She moves back to California, she starts working for the sheriff's department. Her uncle is the sheriff, and he basically gives her this desk job. She's pushing papers, she is taking care of her old dog Cisco, who was in the Army with her, and I loved that kind of relationship, but again, it didn't really go into like the depths that I wanted it to. I would have liked to see more of their relationship, Cisco and Katie. This is the start of a series, and so maybe later on those depths are explored, and maybe it's just like first book bad luck for me. So Katie is working at the sheriff's department. She's kind of doing some data entry, and then she comes across a cold case of a missing girl. And this reminds her of something that happened in her past where a friend of hers went missing and when they were children, and so she kind of decides to get involved in this case and do an investigation of her own. As she's looking at the file, she realizes that the investigation was just not really that great at the beginning, and so she decides to see what she can find out. It turns out there might be a serial killer on the loose. This sounds like a book that would be right up my alley, but the conflict, the plot itself, all of it just kind of felt very forced, sometimes even melodramatic, where I found myself not really buying into the character's choices and the situations that she found herself in. The clues seemed to be a little too convenient, the way Katie stumbled upon them. It was almost like she had quite a bit of luck. Or the other detectives who had investigated the case are just really bad detectives, because some of the stuff she was finding seemed like stuff that should have already been found. Really, what it came down to, why I stopped reading Little Girl Sleeping, was that I was just bored. I didn't really care what happened to Katie or to the case or if they were ever going to find this serial killer. I just was not invested in the story. I just stopped wanting to pick this book up, and I was looking for any excuse to do anything else. Working more than I should, watching TV, walking the dog, literally anything else. I did not want to read this book, and that's a bad sign. When that happens, I know it's time to set the book aside and pick up something new. Sometimes I will stop reading a book, not because the book is bad, but because I'm just not in the mood for it, and I will eventually come back to it. But with Little Girl Sleeping, I don't think I'm going to come back to this one, and I don't think I'm going to revisit the series. I think it's just a book that I'm going to let other people read and enjoy. Life's too short and there are too many books. So help me feel less alone. Tell me in the comments, what was the last book you didn't finish? What was the last book on your DNF list? What was the last book you abandoned? Or tell me how many pages you give a book before you decide to chuck it and move on to something else. Honestly, I'm feeling a little sad that the TBR Jar pick this month was a bust. I don't know, I guess I'll just have to shrug it off and try again, pick something new in August, and hope for the best. I know I have a lot of excellent books on my shelves, so come on, TBR Jar, don't let me down. Hopefully August will be redemption month for the TBR Jar. Thanks for watching, I'll see you next time.